realized I needed open heart surgery. There's nothing I love more than to collaborate and pour into them. Having a team, we did not skip a beat. So having income coming in when life throws us a blow is critically important. Most agents work commission check to commission check. They've not saved. They don't have a retirement plan. I'm now taking care of my great grandchildren. Wow. Who I obviously don't even know yet.
Right.
But that's what I mean when I say giving back to legacy, and that's specifically generational wealth.
So Tim, I think, man, when I heard your story about, like kind of getting into like why you have so many of these core values, these beliefs about giving back and building a legacy, it really blew my mind. So, not all too long ago, you had a life-changing experience that really led you on the path that you're on here today. So tell me a little bit about how that started and where you were at in life.
Well, I was the owner of a Remax franchise.
Yeah.
And within the course of about 7 days, I realized I needed open heart surgery. And
within 7 days.
Yeah, from start to finish.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I knew there was a problem. Worked out in the gym every day.
Yeah.
Noticed some tightness in the chest.
Yeah.
Actually, it was real high between my shoulders, and that's why I didn't think anything of it for months.
Yeah.
Because I would work through it and be fine on the elliptical, moving arms, moving legs, and it would go away 5 minutes in. I just thought I was tight.
Yeah, just push a little harder.
Stretched out. Yeah, exactly. So I had it checked out, and like I said, about a 7-day period went by, but really it was 2 days. I learned on September the 9th, 2013, that I needed heart surgery on September the 11th, of all days.
Wow.
But so I had 2 days to get my house in order, and back to your specific question, I was prepared to die. I felt right with the Lord. I was comfortable with dying, but what I experienced was I didn't feel whole. I didn't feel like if I checked out of this world that I'd done enough.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I'd impacted enough lives positively, and it didn't feel good. I mean, my family would have been okay. We had life insurance. We had equity in 2 homes, and kids would have been fine. They were selling real estate with me on my team at the time. My wife was actually managing my Remax office. Everybody would have been fine, but I didn't feel good about me.
Yeah.
And so today.
So at that time, too, I want to really touch on that is when we were talking about before, when I said, the amount of people, and he said it wasn't the quantity of people that you impacted. So why don't you tell me a little bit more, like what was it when it came to the impacts that you wanted to make or the legacy you wanted to leave?
Well, it's a combination of financially and giving of your time and your talent. I had a hugely successful business, Remax broker owner. I had 33 agents, I think, at the time, and they were doing well. I was loving pouring into them, but I just didn't feel whole.
Yeah.
And today I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
The whole eXp experience has allowed me to touch so many more people, and not just people in a local office, but people all over the globe. Literally, I've got agents in my organization in 4 countries and in 21 of the United States, and there's nothing I love more than to collaborate and pour into them and help train, coach, mentor. It's just it goes back to that other belief of giving, not just getting all the time, and giving makes you feel really, really good about yourself. And
within those 2 days, I'm sure you had a lot going through your mind during that time, and like you said, not feeling whole. So like how did that make you feel as a being, like in your mind, when you're like, I just don't feel whole? Were you able to pinpoint it right away of why you didn't?
No, it was more an uncomfortable feeling of just, gosh, I really thought I would feel differently on my deathbed, or what I thought was my deathbed, in terms of not impacting enough people. Just we have all this capability that we're given, God-given talents, if you will, and I just hadn't been using them all.
What do you think was one of the reasons that you weren't using all of them up until that point?
Probably a lack of proper balance in life, probably too much work, not enough God, not enough family, not enough friends. You start thinking of all the relationships, all the people you care about, and not spending enough time with them. It really is it's a shocker. It wakes you up.
How much of that time was spent at work?
Most of it. Yep.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. And thinking back, when you were thinking back on those maybe times that you missed because of work, how did, like, because again, when you think you're on your deathbed, I'm sure there's some harsh realities that you come to terms with. Were there times that you thought of the times you chose work over one of those other priorities?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Vacations being the most prominent. that we think about most often. You know, you're not present with your family. They're having fun, and dad's in the hotel room on his computer, you know, negotiating a deal or something. You've got to fix that. That's why I built a team.
So tell me a little bit of, so all right, so we covered that portion of like kind of going into those 2 days, and then what was the next step for you, like during that process where you had those 2 days from September 9th to September 11th, and then what changed after that? So your eyes opened, first of all.
My eyes opened. I guess right after that, of course, I focused on healing I literally took 7 weeks off, and thank God for residual income. My residual income at that point was having a team. We did not skip a beat. So financially, I was okay. I focused on me. I literally handed my wife my cell phone, and I didn't touch it for 7 weeks. I went to the beach and healed and prayed and thought a lot about life and priorities, and, you know, carrying that on to further answer your question. It was 4 or 5 months later, we're sitting in church, and the sermon series was entitled Simplify. And I'm like, okay, God's talking to me twice now. He put me in the hospital for a reason, telling me to slow down, make some changes, and now he's trying to tell me how to simplify my life. You know, what's he trying to say? And ultimately, I decided at that point to sell the franchise.
So what wasn't simple about your life at that time?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
My cardiologist told me that you must be too stressed, because what I haven't told you yet is the reason I thought I was going to die is I was in the shape of my life. I had no heart disease in my family, no high cholesterol, no high blood pressure, worked out every day. So I thought, well, it must be my time. And after the surgery, my cardiologist said, you were 80% blocked in all four. You literally would have died in your recliner watching TV had you not noticed this tightness. And, you know, that spoke to me again. She said, you must just be too stressed. I'm like, really? I don't feel stressed. I mean, I guess we all work to our own level of stress without really even realizing it. But I took that to heart, said, okay, obviously I am stressed. That's what caused clogs in those arteries, all of them. And the simplification was, all right, let's eliminate a layer of stress. And the only thing I could think of was, let's get debt free. And the way I got debt free was to sell the business. I didn't get out of the business. I didn't find it stressful. In fact, I continued to do the same job, but doing it when you have no other debts eliminates a huge layer of stress in your life.
And you know, how much of that do you see in the real estate industry almost glorifying the stress that comes with it?
We make it look too easy. I mean, everybody. I mean, most agents work commission check to commission check. They've not saved. They don't have a retirement plan. They don't have a 401k or profit sharing plan. It's just deal to deal, and the stress comes with that. We talked off camera earlier about, you know, some agents not having integrity and doing the right thing by their clients because they're too focused on a commission check sometimes, and it's sad.
And you know, how much of that do you think adds? If some of these agents, like you said, you are in great shape, in the shape of your life, but there was that stress factor that played into it. So, you know, especially with so many agents living commission to commission, going after the next deal, but they're maybe not maybe they are integrity, but they're not in an environment that is high integrity. Like, how much of that do you think plays into stress and health that they don't even realize?
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot. And, you know, so for you next, like you were saying, simplify. So what did simplifying look like for you, and how are you trying to give simplification to other agents now?
Simplification, as I mentioned, was, all right, let's eliminate stress, simplify life. If stress is coming from the financial burdens we all carry with us, I was able to get rid of some of mine. And then, you know, moving that forward, it's showing agents what residual income's all about, you know, preparing for that day that, you know, life's going to happen. Real quick story. I won't name names, but just last week, a buddy of mine was at our annual build conference. We're out to dinner. He can't see. He literally stopped being able to see 100%. His vision went down to like 15-20%.
And there was no like prior history of this,
he did. He had a prior history in one eye. Where he's legally blind in that one eye. Well, it happened to the second eye. And he ended up being okay. He's not 100%. But that was a wake-up call. It's like, okay, you know, something like that could happen to any one of us at any time. And he missed 2 days of the conference.
Yeah.
But got back home, saw the doctor, figured a few things out, and vision got a little bit better. But, he literally could have been legally blind, never driven again. He was already telling me, I'm going to have to sell this and sell that and probably get out of the business. And my assistant's going to have to drive me around to my listing appointments and my showings. And that can happen to any of us. And so having income coming in when life throws us a blow is critically important.
And I feel like it's so hard for people to come to terms with that as you're going through the business, because until it happens to you or someone very close to you, you don't take the time to really think like that.
Oh, that'll never happen to me.
Yeah.
That's what people think. But it will. I hope it doesn't.
Right.
You don't ever wish anything on anybody, but life will happen. And it might be a spouse, a parent, a child, God forbid.
Yeah.
Or just a sickness or something that prevents you. Maybe you wake up and you can't walk one day.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think that's inevitability of life, where life will happen no matter what. And life, unfortunately, like, it moves on. Like, just because you get into a certain state, like you were saying, for those 7 weeks, real estate didn't stop for those 7 weeks.
Right.
The business doesn't stop when you stop. As great of an agent, you could be the best producing agent in the town. If you do something where you cannot produce in the next 2 months, that production will go somewhere else.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So for you, when it came down to your legacy, and a lot of times, I think a lot of individuals think legacy as about yourself, but your legacy is about giving. So, like, how did that legacy start to grow as you joined eXp as well?
Several ways. Some of my whys to join eXp were to build a legacy of wealth through our stock program and build legacy through our revenue sharing program, which is directly tied to introducing agents to the company.
Yeah.
And the legacy part of that is, if something happens to me today, it's willed to my wife.
Yeah.
If something happened to her after me, it's willed to our children.
Yeah.
And so there's a legacy right there, in that it's already past a generation. My grandsons are already talking about becoming realtors, and they don't know anything about legacy.
How old are they now?
They're 10, 11, and 13.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about, what they will ultimately inherit one day.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And that ties back to the heart story. And, like, it's one thing to buy an insurance policy and people to get a windfall of a little bit of cash from that and sell a couple houses and have some cash, but residual income is just going to keep coming in month after month after month after month. So I really feel, honestly, that I'm now taking care of my great grandchildren. Wow. I obviously don't even know yet.
Right.
But that's what I mean when I say giving back to legacy, and that's specifically generational wealth. But you're also leaving a legacy by pouring into other agents and teaching them how to earn money multiple different ways. We all should have multiple streams of income, and if we don't, we're going to have a JOB. And, we're going to retire and maybe have retirement. Most agents don't retire. I don't know about you. I've never been to a retirement party for a realtor, but unfortunately, I've lost 3 friends in the last 6 months that are real estate agents. I've been to too many funerals, and as a industry, we don't save. We live check to check, as I said.
And if you don't want to touch on this, that's perfectly fine too. How is losing some of your friends that have been in the industry? I'm just curious, were they at eXp, or like how is the relationship between you guys? Were you helping grow something together, or like what was?
Both of these two of them were friends that were on my team.
Oh, wow.
When I was with other brokers.
Yeah. So you've known them for years and years.
Yeah. One gentleman was the very first buyer's agent I brought onto my team back in 2003 or 2004.
Wow.
Another gentleman joined me around 2009.
Yeah.
And we had all gone our separate ways over the last years, had not stayed in real close touch. And then you feel bad about that, obviously.
Yeah.
But, run into people at networking events and see them socially. And every once in a while we'd pick up the phone, call one another, but, not doing the friendship thing like we certainly could have been doing. I wish now we would have been doing. But.
And how do things like that impact the way you want to collaborate with agents that aren't even in your marketplace as well?
Oh, it's huge. You just want to impact people's lives in a positive way and interact with them as much and as often as you can.
Yeah. And then talk to me a little about, because you were saying like the collaboration here is like nothing you've experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
So can you give me some like Why is that to you? Like, why do you think that that culture of collaboration is so instilled in the agents at this company?
Well, I think it's one thing.
Okay.
The agents own the company. When you're an agent working for a brokerage and you have no skin in the game, you're almost like an employee. I've received more referrals from other eXp agents in 4.5 years than I did the prior 17 years of my real estate career.
Wow.
And I'm convinced it's because agents want to give to a fellow eXp agent a referral.
Yeah.
When I was a RE/MAX owner, or when I worked for a RE/MAX franchise, or when I worked for an ERA franchise, all great companies, but I didn't care who I referred business to. I didn't keep it in-house, if you will. Yeah. And it goes back to I want to help any eXp agent I can, pour into them, collaborate with them, because when I help them win, the company wins, and when the company's winning, all of us agent owners win. Absolutely. Yeah. It's win-win-win on all three fronts.
And how much of it too is also really believing in what eXp stands for. So if you hand it to an eXp agent, you have a strong belief that, like, hey, that person's just like me, or like-minded as well.
Absolutely.
You think what is the company's culture like when you go to these events in different places? Because everybody hears about different downlines and different things. Like, is it clicky like that, or do you believe in the collaboration is just company wide?
No, it's clearly company wide. Yeah. I'll tell you another quick story. When I first saw eXp's core values, when I was evaluating the model in late 2017, I saw the core values. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Right. Hear it a lot. Yeah.
Well, my experience when I was in the information technology sector, I called on Fortune 500 customers all over the United States. And I'd walk into the boardroom and I'd see mission statement, vision statement, core values on the boardroom wall, but I didn't always see them practice those values in real life. So that was my expectation.
Right.
I literally, inside of 2 or 3 weeks after joining eXp, went to my first eXp shareholder meeting. I experienced that culture, and I said, holy crap, boy, was I wrong. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. That's us, just at every turn. No clicks. Yeah. One big fire, we call it. Yeah. We're all just helping each other any way we can.
And how much of it almost sounds too good to be true? Yeah. And how much of that do you think draws red flags into some agents?
A lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was too good to be true.
Yeah.
I'm an anal retentive, and I studied the model for 60 days. I probably talked to 30, 40 eXp
How much
agents.
sleep did you get in that 60 days?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much.
You're like, I have to find the hole in this. There's got to be one.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah. I thought it was too good to be true. Yeah. In fact, a friend of mine asked me to evaluate the company for her because she was looking at moving her license to it.
Yeah.
And she said, I respect your opinion. Will you look at it and help me make sure I'm not making a huge mistake? And I thought, this is too good to be true. Right. I said, give me a few weeks. I want to dig a little deeper.
Weeks turned into months.
It did. And it happened to coincide with the last 3 months of my no compete after selling the RE/MAX brokerage. So I studied it for the remaining 3 months.
I'm not going to compete. I'm going to study.
Yeah. And actually, I was... the broker that I'd sold the company to, we were actively evaluating, what do we want to be? Do we want to stay RE/MAX? Do we want to go any of the other brands? Do we want to become independent? Do we want to go eXp? And I saw eXp. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I don't care what you do, but and that's not completely true. I mean, that's where I was leaning, but I then
you were so strong in your conviction of this company.
I was. Yeah. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it. And with my technology background, I've got a computer science degree, and I always felt like a virtual brokerage was the thing of the future. And most agents don't use the office anyway, so that's just a waste of money having all that brick and mortar. So it appealed to me from a tech standpoint.
Right.
And the rest is history. I took the opportunity to my sales team at that point, traditional team, and in 90 minutes we unanimously voted to move to eXp.
Wow, 90 minutes. So, I think something else, a tough thing for agents to comprehend is this virtual brokerage. And how do you really get relationships in a virtual world? Do you really collaborate in the virtual world? Because I feel like that's something tough to experience until you actually do.
Yeah.
So like, was there a time when you really felt like this virtual experience is something special, being able to collaborate all across the country? Can you remember a specific time where it kind of dawned on you?
I don't know that it dawned on me, but I think what I relate it to is this whole COVID experience, when the many parts of the world were shutting down and people were quarantined and locked down, and you were forced families were forced to see each other over a Zoom.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap, we've been doing this at eXp since 2009. We were kind of built for this COVID pandemic situation, horrible as it is, but we didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
And, we weren't a brokerage that had a brick and mortar office where none of the agents could go to work.
Yeah.
But the mortgage payment still had to be made, or the rent payment still had to be made. But
yeah.
I was always interested in the virtual world. And probably the biggest misnomer is, oh, well, there must not be support if I can't see my broker. Well, of course you can see your broker.
Yeah.
And I can talk to my broker just like you and I are talking right now. I can see her face and we can have a conversation. I can pop a contract up on a screen and review it together. Of course, I can call or text at any time. So the support's really not any different. It's actually better because it's faster.
Yeah.
I can talk to my broker in seconds.
Yeah.
Or any of the 1,700 employees that are there supporting us too. Maybe I don't need my broker.
Maybe you just grab a support ticket in the world.
Yep. Most agents go to their broker for everything in their local office because they don't have an infrastructure beyond the broker. Maybe an office manager, maybe a front desk person that's keying in listings or something. But we've got 1,700 people to go to. That's the biggest difference. I'll go to my broker now only for legal type questions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I might be in trouble. What do I do? But I'll go to marketing for marketing. I go to onboarding for onboarding. I'll go to accounting for a commission check question, or earnest money question, so we're supported by so many people. It's a totally different experience.
How have you seen that change? Because a lot of times we talk about the agents, but for the broker too, the broker who has to field all that questions before, because even if you have a support staff, then you have to hire, coach them, train them, figure out what to do. Like, how have you seen that change for brokers who make the move over to eXp?
Brokers only deal with the brokering type questions. They're not messing with accounting and marketing and compliance. Well, compliance, I guess, is one that they'll still touch on a little bit, but
not as much.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've got staff and we've got different number of brokers. There's not just one broker per state like a lot of people think.
So
too.
Let me ask this question a different way. So for the brokers who just end up joining and no longer being a broker per se, but now they're able to bring their brokerage over and leverage the other brokers in the state, leverage the support, leverage the training that are happening. How have you seen that change brokers' lives and the stress that comes into it?
Oh my gosh. We could talk an hour on this topic.
Let's go.
Well, first of all, about 450 brokerages partnered with eXp last year.
Yeah.
There's big reasons for that. So a broker coming to eXp and bringing their entire company, number one, first of all, it's about ego.
Yeah.
This is my baby. I birthed it. I might lose my identity and, my status in the community, whatever. The benefits are so outnumbering the drawbacks. Actually, I don't even know any drawbacks unless you want to consider their ego a drawback. But a broker coming to eXp,
that's a benefit. Getting rid of that.
Eliminate their legal liability because eXp has brokers in every state already. So the broker that moves their whole company over wins in that regard. They no longer have sleepless nights over their license and them getting sued when their agent screws up.
Yeah.
They bring all their agents with them. They can still receive residual income on those agents' production, but let's use just a mathematical example. If you bring over 100-person brokerage, now those 100 agents can all go out and build organizations on their own of agents that they recruit to the company, and the broker gets paid not on just the 100, but maybe if 10 of those 100 each brought over 100, now there's 1,100 people that they're getting compensated on. But the broker doesn't lose their identity. They can come over with their name and then just add the tagline brokered by eXp Realty. Of course, that's subject to state guidelines. It's always going to be subject to advertising regulations. But they lose their liability. They can get rid of their office if they want. They can keep it if they want. They can essentially if they were running their office with an office manager and maybe a front desk person, somebody doing commission payable, bookkeeper, whatever, and somebody do 1099s and W-2s, all those jobs could go away because they're all done by eXp Corporate.
Yeah.
So they can actually get back to brokering and selling real estate if they're a broker that also produces.
Making real estate fun again.
Exactly.